Assalamu alaikum, मेरा नाम Rabia Mushtaq है and I've been working as a journalist and development professional based in Karachi. I started my journalism career in 2015 with the Jung group of companies and was working as a sub-editor at Mag the Weekly. It was a weekly lifestyle magazine. उसके बाद because of the situation of media in Pakistan, especially print media, I switched to doing more of freelance journalism and opted for development profession. So as a woman in media, I would say कि वैसे ही when you're, especially if you're someone who's into English journalism, it's a very it's more like a bubble. तो वो उसको वैसे ही break करके to enter that bubble, it's difficult for anybody. But as a woman it gets more difficult because obviously आपका gender जो है वो लोगों को ज़्यादा उसको ज़्यादा गौर कर रहे होते हैं, and then they look past your abilities and they focus on your gender. I personally, I can't really say if I faced any sort of discrimination because I began working as a lifestyle journalist और हमारे यहाँ ज़्यादातर ख़वातीन को lifestyle journalism से associate कर दिया जाता है. For me, it was more like a window to get into this industry and obviously work on the stories that I really wanted to work on, that obviously entail human rights violations and gender justice and everything. तो उस वक्त तो ज़ाहिर है मुझे नहीं महसूस हुआ, लेकिन आई एम श्योर ख़वातीन के लिए मसाइल होते हैं. हम अगर बाहर निकलते हैं, व्हेन वी रिपोर्टिंग ऑन स्टोरीज, इवन एज अ प्रिंट जर्नलिस्ट, व्हेन यू मीट सोर्सेज और व्हेन यू ट्राई टू गेट इन टच विद सोर्सेज और you're trying to get your story done in any way, you kind of face that kind of discrimination, you face a lot of sexism. When I quit my first job after 3 years, my editor-in-chief asked me if I was getting married, but I was quitting to switch to something else and get more explore journalism as in an independent capacity, and that was the question that he asked me without even thinking twice. I could maybe have other ideas and other aspirations. तो ये तो obviously you get it everywhere. Salaries के time पे भी यही होता है. If you demand a lot of money, people blatantly tell you कि आपकी तो family नहीं है, आप तो शादीशुदा नहीं हैं, आपके बच्चे नहीं हैं, why do you need so much salary, why are you charging so much, even if you take up consultancy gigs or anything like that. So you get that a lot as a woman, and as a woman journalist and as a woman development professional, I've gotten that a lot. So yeah, that's like, it's bad, it shouldn't be happening anymore. Pakistan mein you see a lot of women journalists now. Obviously things have changed, we've progressed in that sense. ख़वातीन आपको बहुत नज़र आती हैं काम करते हुए on the ground, on television. You see, I won't say you see a lot of bylines, but you see a good number of bylines in print as well. लेकिन घूम फिर के at the end of the day, when you look at the top tier in print or in broadcast or digital whatever, वहाँ पे women representation is not as much as it should be, because when you see that times are changing, globally it's very less. There aren't a lot of female editors or heads of media entities. तो एक जो जेंडर परसेप्शन बना हुआ है कि ख़वातीन नहीं कर सकती या जर्नलिज्म में ख़वातीन कुछ नहीं कर सकती, ज़्यादा रिस्की स्टोरीज़ नहीं कर सकती. आई थिंक स्टोरीज़ आर नेवर रिस्की. एवरी स्टोरी इज़ अ स्टोरी एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. आइदर इट्स अ मैन और अ वुमन, एनीबडी कैन टेल दैट स्टोरी. आई थिंक खुद का अपना विल पावर भी बहुत ज़रूरी है, और दैट्स हाउ यू बेसिकली चेंज द सोसाइटीज़ परसेप्शन. यू डोंट ऑलवेज हैव टू रिलाई कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे. यू हैव टू वर्क टूवर्ड्स चेंजिंग दैट. I personally have faced that. अभी भी मुझे घर में से if I'm going to, for example, I'm doing this story on Lyari, and there have been days when I was told by my family कि तुम अकेले मत जाओ, go with your brother, और या भाई के साथ चली जाओ या फिर किसी को साथ ले लो. But there have been days when I've just stepped out of the house and I'm like, why should I rely on somebody? I just stepped out and I went and did my interviews. So you can't always keep depending on people, especially men in your house or men in the office at all. a lot of newsrooms should hire more women. I think that's the first step you should take. चाहे newsroom हो या चाहे print है या broadcast है, digital है, आप जितना ज़्यादा ख़वातीन को hire करेंगे उतना ज़्यादा you can fill that gap. सेकेंडली एक कंपैशन होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि ख़वातीन के जो इश्यूज़ हैं वो हमारे सोसाइटी में मर्दों से ज़्यादा हैं, और जिस तरह से वो निकल के दे स्टेप आउट एंड द वे दे टेक अप दीज जॉब्स, आई थिंक दैट इन itself is commendable. And I think if they face any issues, I think their peers need to support them a lot. Their editorial जो भी टीम्स होती हैं उनको सपोर्ट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, और allies, male allies होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. You can't function in a newsroom or even if you're working at a weekly desk या monthly desk without the support of your colleagues, whether they're male or female. So I think that kind of support is very important, and that's something that would really fill this gap and ensure some sort of media, gender equality in media.